I just got the car back from Jeremy over at LSX Unlimited. He just did a bass tune on it, which, no, I didn't film any of it because it was more or less just lining out the car. I needed to know what worked, what didn't work. He said before we could start leaning on this thing, though, I did have to change a few things. So we are very, 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 very close. Everything's working, everything's good. I just need to fix a few little issues, and we're going to be going to dyno to get this thing ironed out. What I'm doing right now is I'm doing a boost leak test on it. Because this thing is, I drove it around the block and it's super, super lazy on boost. I know it's big single turbo, but it is super lazy on boost. So I'm assuming that it's got a huge boost leak somewhere. So as soon as I put air into it, it's immediately leaking out. It sounds like it's coming from right over here. So I'm gonna do a little digging around, see if I can find this thing, because that's leaking out all the air immediately. I'm not doing anything with power. So let's see. It's actually coming out right from this this mass airflow right here. So after looking at this thing a little closer, the looks like the seat where it holds the gasket out on here is, I mean, it's torn up and it's not able to hold the gasket. So I just got a new sensor in there with the new gasket. And this thing is not leaking at all now. So one of the things that was on Jeremy's list was the wastegate was leaking out of one of the ports. So I'm gonna have Scott tear this thing apart. Hopefully it's something stupid. If not, we'll just order a new wastegate. But hopefully it's something we can just fix real quick and get this car right back on the road.
What was it doing?
It was leaking air out of the top port if you were to blow into the side port. So that's showing, yeah, the diaphragm's probably bad.
There's a set screw. Holds that top end. Good, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, it definitely shouldn't be like that.
It's pinched right there.
There it is. There's gonna be your leak. So before we were able to blow in the side and air would just come right out of the top. So see if this fixed it.
Anything?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna double dip. Alright, so now that we've got the wastegate back from getting fixed, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this thing back on, and we're gonna continue tackling the other few problems that we got before we can really start to lean on this thing. Cool thing about this one though, it's all V-banded everywhere. The turbo itself is V-band, the exhaust to it's V-band, wastegate's V-band, dump tube is V-band. I really like this setup because of that, because everything's super duper easy. This hose coming off the turbo housing, running it to this side port on the wastegate. It's dark in there. This side port right here on the wastegate. This is just for now. I have a new boost controller coming that Jeremy recommended. So we're ditching this Turbo Smart e-boost. We got no more leak on the wastegate. Boost is under control. I've got to fix a couple wires that he said he didn't like, and the plug wires for this thing are touching the exhaust, or touching the up pipe. So I've got to get in there and find a way to secure those, keep those from burning up. Otherwise, I mean, this thing's ready to go. Blanket back on. This turbo blanket is so important on this car because it gets so hot under here. And I gotta run the little clamps for this thing. But yeah, so there we are. That is all the way finished. And like I said, problem solved. All the boost leaks are fixed. Next up, we're gonna be taking the intake off of this thing I gotta tap it for better vacuum lines for the blow-off valve and the boost gauge inside. Right now we're hooked into the brake booster, and that is not going to work, so we'll be doing that next.